The Tank Cup in World of Tanks console is here, which is the latest event that World of Tanks are running, where you can pick up a brand new premium vehicle that is super weird, and I'm actually really looking forward to potentially getting this, and we're going to cover everything that you need to know about this event in particular, and hopefully that will give you an indication as to how you can best do complete it, as well as some of the other information about what's coming this week on World of Tanks, or at least tomorrow as of the upload of this video. So without further ado, the Tank Cup event. We did a video highlighting that there would be a Tank Cup event last week, just before the weekend. And of course, in this, we have the details on what this event is. So much like with the World Cup going on right now, there is a World Cup version in World of Tanks. So yeah, it's a kind of World of Tanks football inspired event, I guess. And essentially what you have is 4 different teams. So this represents, I don't know, a semi-finals where you've got 4 different teams, or a quarterfinals even. But essentially what you've got is you have Team Ragnarok, you've then also got Team Hurricanes, you've got Team Cyclops, and you've got Team Tigers. So in order to be able to complete it, you have to choose a team. So on the Challenges tab in the Games menu, select More Challenges. From there, you'll be able to sign up for the Tank Cup by selecting one of the 4 teams. So you can pick one team, I believe, during this entire event. So once you have picked your team, that is all you can score your points, and therefore help your team win the kind of event. If you've seen the Tank Bowl event that Wargaming ran a long time ago in World of Tanks console, you'll know what this is, where you could pick up the Champion Panther, which was the tier 7 kind of VKD sort of vehicle. It kind of looks a little bit like the Absolution, but yeah, it's essentially a very old premium tank that was available as part of the Tank Bowl. It's a similar sort of story with this, but with a different tank. So, what do you do once you've picked your team, and what do the teams represent? So for those of you wanting to know what teams are particularly the ones that are going to be good, well, you've essentially got Team Ragnarok, and each team you have to play in the certain nation that is the affiliation with whatever it might be. So the first one, Team Ragnarok, nations USA, including Western Alliance vehicles. So this means that you can play either in World War II, the United States tanks, or you can play Polish tanks, and the independent vehicles that are used within the kind of Cold War game mode. You'll be able to use the NM116, the T100, the TR580, the TR85, the TR125, the TVP VTU, the Skoda T50, and the TVP T5051. So all of these tanks that are available in any of the nations that we've just highlighted, you will be able to use, and therefore be able to get points. But that's not it. So I guess that this nation is actually pretty good, because the USA tech tree in World War II's really open to play loads of different tanks, and it's a big tech tree, allows you to play various different ones, and I guess it depends on what you're grinding at the minute. But I would highly recommend potentially using Team Ragnarok, because I feel like a lot of people will be using it, since the USA is predominantly where the player base typically lie. And then the next one, Team Hurricanes, which is the kind of Russian equivalent, so the USSR. So it's essentially going to probably be a race between the USA tanks and the Russian tech tree line, or Soviet tech tree line as it's now called, or as it's always been called, but you know what I mean. The USSR includes the Eastern Alliance vehicles as well, so you've essentially got West versus East, including the USA versus the USSR. We've also then got Japan and Czechoslovakia that are in the Team Hurricane. So there's a potential between choosing either of these. You kind of have to bet on what tanks you think are going to win the overall points list to be able to get the rewards that you get from being in the top kind of reward section. So for me personally, the one I'm going to be picking is probably going to be Team Hurricanes, because I just enjoy the look of it, I enjoy the tanks, and I've got to grind through some of the Soviet tech trees. So if you are watching this video, join Team Hurricanes with me. is what I'm trying to say, because then we can all get the AMX for free, which is the vehicle, but we'll get into the actual vehicle later on. And then you've got Team Cyclops, which includes the UK, French and Chinese tech trees. And then you've got Team Tigers, which include the Germans, Sweden and Italy. So these could potentially be the other contender. So I think, to be honest with you, realistically, it's going to be between Team Ragnarok, Team Hurricanes and Team Tigers. I think the Team Cyclops, although it's got quite a few good tech tree lines in there, they're probably less played than the others. So you've got much better chance of actually winning. Of course, no one can predict the future. And if you can, I don't know why you're playing World of Tanks, so I'd be on the stock market. But either way, essentially what you want to be doing is just choosing which ones, you think are going to win the entire competition. Of course, if you're only in it for the camo and inscriptions, then that's absolutely fine. You can do that. But yeah, just pick whichever one you think is cool. And then how do I score points and goals? After picking your team, earn points by getting vehicle XP and tanks from your team's associated nations. So you have to play the tanks that we've just mentioned. And then the other ones are score a goal by earning 15 points. Anytime you score a goal, you'll receive an additional larger random reward. If you score 5 or more goals, you'll be eligible for the final reward if your team is the ultimate winner. So the ultimate winner, that is where you get the premium vehicle and how you can actually pick it up. So you want to pick the best team and then you want to score 5 goals within this. So this is what you have to do. So essentially you will need 5 lots of 15, which is equal to 75 points in total, which means, you'll have to be able to get 1,250 or more XP in any number of battles 75 times. The Tank Cup Gold, the rewards that you can get from this are 75,000 silver, premium consumables, times 3 vehicle XP, times 6 commander XP, times 2 silver, emblem vouchers for the team and inscription vouchers for the team. So every time you complete it, you'll get a random one of those that we just mentioned, as well as if you complete the standard 1 cup point, you'll get either 7,500 silver, 500 vehicle XP, or 500 commander XP. So really, really nice rewards as an addition to just playing the game normally. So yeah, just pick the tanks that you're going to be playing the most, and of course, pick the one that you think is going to win. So how is the Tank Cup winner determined? This is what you're probably interested in. Well, week 1, we'll put the teams into pairs. So for example, Team A and Team B versus Team C and Team D. Each team will try to earn as many points as possible and score the most goals to become part of the winning pair. So essentially, you have to kind of fight against each other, I guess. So Team A and Team B might be the Soviet tech tree and then Team Cyclops both together versus Team Tigers and Team Ragnarok. So this is where you have to kind of weigh it up. Which ones do you think are going to be the winners? And then week 2 will then have the 2 teams from week 1's winning pair face each other. So if Team Tigers and Team Cyclops were to win the first one, it would then be Team Cyclops versus the other team against each other in a one-on-one face-off, where essentially it's whichever team in total, as with every single player in the game, playing and choosing a team, whichever one wins the kind of match. So week 3 will then have the 2 teams from week 1's losing pair face each other. Week 4 will pit the losing team from week 2 and the winning team from week 3 against each other as they score goals and try to make it to the final round. Information corrected on the 14th of November, so obviously they made a mess up there in what they were saying. And then finally, week 5 will have the winner of week 2 play against the winner of week 4, duking it out for the ultimate Tank Cup victory. So essentially, the double winner plays against the losing winner, and then it comes out as kind of the ultimate winner from the tournament. So week 1 will be Team Ragnarok and Team Hurricanes. So Team Ragnarok and Team Hurricanes, well, I think you know who's going to win the first one. So this highlights that you want to really be picking Team Ragnarok or Team Hurricanes as your team, since they are both together against the other 2. And I think that Team Cyclops and Team Tigers are just not going to be able to cope with both of these tech tree lines and the tanks that are within them. And then depending on the results of week 1, it will be Team Ragnarok versus Team Hurricanes versus Team Cyclops versus Team Tigers. So essentially it's just the loser of one versus the winner of the other, and then losers, and then you carry on, and of course it depends on who's won the previous, etc. So these are what you want to be doing. And then what are the rewards for this event? Well, the first one is each week players who score 5 goals will be able to get team camo vouchers for free, emblem vouchers and inscriptions. So that's pretty lame. No one's that bothered about them, I don't expect. And then keep scoring goals until the end of the Tank Cup and the ultimate glory is yours. From a unique premium tank to theme rewards, this is the time to give you and your gun for the middle podium. So yeah, not too much of a reward, but the ultimate reward for this is the ultra rare EOC AMX 90, a premium French tier 6 light tank. So this is the first one ever released, I believe. So if you know about the EOC, EOC AMX, this is essentially the same sort of tank at tier 6. So you've got essentially a pretty weird little vehicle, and I think it'll be quite fun. This tier 6 vehicle goes 65 kilometers an hour. It's got 240 alpha damage, 2.7 second aim time, which is good. Accuracy is 0.38, which is good. View range I'm looking for now, and that's probably 360. Yep. So up to about 420 or more with all of the boosts and stuff that you can put onto your view range. So pretty good. I'm expecting concealment is going to be fantastic in this little monster. And so, yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very nice tank to actually get, and I highly recommend you actually go towards it if you do have time. But if you don't manage to complete it, I'm wondering if you'll be able to just purchase it at a discount dependent on where your team came. I'm not entirely sure, but maybe this is where, for players on the winning tank Cup team who scored at least 5 goals. So at the tournament, the ultimate prize will be a collector's item, the ultra rare, blah blah blah. Fastens. The tank's adaptability and perks also make it an excellent vehicle for recruits. So it doesn't look like you can actually just buy this tank outright, which is kind of interesting. Wargaming very rarely do this, where you cannot just buy the tank anyway. So it might be a case of like, if you do not win, that is it. That is you will not be able to get this tank, and maybe you won't be able to get it again. So this is definitely a time to think logically about what team you want to go with, and then pick from there. Tank Cup cosmetic bundles, you've got Team Ragnarok, Hurricanes, blah blah blah. You can get camo and inscriptions, and that is basically it for this event. So really, really good event. I always like this, and of course the exclusive reward being the EOC AMX 90, the tier 6 premium light tank, and it will be free as part of it. But what about the other news for this week? So along with the Tank Cup event, you will also be able to get a sale on some of the camos, inscriptions and emblems that are currently in the game. So if you want to purchase camos, inscriptions and emblems, now is the time to do it. I believe it will be a 50% sale on camos, inscriptions and emblems. That counts for silver. So if you are hoping to be playing a vehicle probably from like tier 7 and onwards, you want to be putting camo on your vehicle to improve your concealment, unless of course maybe you're playing heavy and you just don't care, or you just don't want to spend the silver. It's up to you, but for performance wise, you should always have camo on your tank, and in doing so, it might be a really great time if you're in the higher tiers to purchase the 50% silver off of the 30 days worth bundle, or you can alternatively actually spend your real money and put some camo on there, but it's down to you whether you want to spend gold on that, but that will also be discounted most likely for all of that. And then additionally, there's also some tanks for free XP as well. But before then, we've got the Black Friday sales where you can pick up premium time. And if you do not want to spend any money on this game, or you have or wanting to spend any money on the game for the first time, or maybe you're just thinking, what should I buy as the best thing? Well, premium time is probably one of the best things that you can have, because it's applied to every single game that you play in World of Tanks. It gives you 50% more silver, 50% more XP. It also gives you 50% more commander XP. So it's really, really good for grinding through tech tree lines, and allows you to actually be able to save a ton of silver when you're trying to grind through, because that can be a real problem, especially if you play Cold War. So premium time will be at a 50% discount usually during Black Friday for the 365-day package, meaning that it comes down to about £40 a year, which, to be honest with you, is not that bad when you consider a pint now is about £5, and you probably get more enjoyment out of playing World of Tanks potentially. Hang on a minute, did I really just say that? Maybe you'd get more enjoyment. So yeah, I guess it's just one of those things. But essentially it's about £3.50 to £4 per month if you do want to buy premium time on Black Friday. If you don't, it's probably about £6, somewhere in that region, £6 to £7 a month, to be able to do it, not during Black Friday. So it's up to you what you want to do, and yeah, in my opinion, it's one of the best things you can do. It's way better than buying premium tanks, so that's what I would do. There is also some cosmetics on sale, like we talked about, and also equipment, so you'll be able to pick up equipment for a reduced price. Usually it's about 50% off, so you can load up your tanks with tons of equipment. If you've got a load of equipment that you need to put on, but you've been wondering about like the price differences and stuff, essentially what you can do is, if you're worried about losing a ton of money from putting equipment on your vehicles, because of the sale where it'll be like 50% off putting on equipment on your tanks, you can actually sell the equipment after the event has run out, and you will not lose any money. Because essentially what will happen is that you pay half price for the equipment, it then goes back up to full price, and then you get half the price of the equipment. So essentially it doesn't cost you anything to put equipment on, provided you don't sell your equipment during the time that the sale is on, because you will get 50% of 50%, if that makes sense. So you'll end up with a quarter of the total value, even though you've paid half of the value. So make sure that you keep your equipment on to the end, and then it won't cost you any silver whatsoever. Of course, 1 to 32 instead of 1 to 25 on free XP. So if you want to spend some money just free XPing your way through tech trees, then you could do. Or alternatively, you can spend free XP on a ton of tanks, and there are loads that you could pick up. And yeah, I highly recommend avoiding paying free XP, because I'd much rather use it on getting through some of the dodgy tech trees, in my opinion, because a lot of these premium tanks aren't that great. I mean, the best ones probably being the Yahtzee, maybe in the region, I don't know, the Motherland, no, not even that, the Hawk 30. So there aren't really that many good tanks in here, and they're not really must-have tanks, so yeah, I wouldn't go out of your way to spend free XP on them. And then you've got premium bonus lines, which are the 268, the Rheinmetall Panzerwagen, and the Type 89. We will be doing a video on the Object 268, and hopefully I'll be able to get my hands on the Panzerwagen soon on my account, and we can do full reviews of those, showcasing what the vehicles are like, and hopefully give you an indication as to whether or not they're good. Other than that, I hope that was everything that you needed to know. Of course, with the new premium tank coming into the game as part of the kind of collection item from taking part in the event, and hopefully you get in the winning team. I highly recommend you take a bit of a thought process, look through the teams in which the pitted up sections will be, and then make a decision as to which one you think is going to most likely get you the premium tank at the end of it. But other than that, I hope you have a fantastic rest of your day, and I hope you join me back in tomorrow's video where we look at the T57 Heavy, and whether or not, after all of the nerfs to basically the tech tree line before it, whether the tank is even worth grinding towards at the end. And kind of, yeah, it's definitely worth it in my opinion. But either way, you can see that video tomorrow. If you have any replays that you have had on World of Tanks and you want to send them in for me to do a video on, then please, you can send them to the email address in the description below. And all you have to do is just link a YouTube video where you have the replay, and then I can record it, and then you can see it on my channel coming soon, hopefully. Fingers crossed you do that if you do have one that you want to showcase. And of course, it's a nice way to have your guys' replays as well as my own. Thank you, and I hope to see you in the next one. Goodbye.